The fact that Metroid Prime still holds up after over 20 years is a testament to how ahead of its time it was. For many, Metroid is an everlasting symbol of quality and masterful world building. Even by modern gaming standards, it really is a clinic on what makes for a fantastic immersive gaming experience and is one that sticks with you long after the end credits appear. I thought about the level design when I wasn't playing so many times, and I could literally hear the epic theme music in my sleep, when I made dinner, and when I would exercise, and that isn't a joke. The soundtrack is that good and that memorable, and one of the best I've heard in recent years, regardless of how long it's actually been around for. So now I can finally say I did it. I played and finished one of the best games Nintendo's ever released, complete with updated graphics and that buttery smooth frame rate. And I'll say that Metroid Prime Remastered is pretty damn glorious. As a small note, I'm not a lifelong Metroid fan and haven't played anything past Super Metroid way back when, before this review, so this will be my point of view as a newer player to the series. For starters, Samus Aran, a galactic bounty hunter and absolute badass, is an iconic and legendary avatar of gaming. I mean, just one glance at that iconic suit and you know she means serious business, dishing it out while making it look effortless in the process. The game wastes no time throwing you right into the thick of it. You go from a stranded space pirate ship to the planet of Talon 4 within the first 10 minutes. You even chase your arch nemesis Meta Ridley down to said planet, losing your powers in the process, and there your journey begins with no idea of what's to come. The atmosphere and environments in this game are phenomenal. When you first load in, you instantly feel that the environment is definitely a character in its own right, to the point where you almost expect to hear a heart beating. A character that pushes you further and challenges you beyond what you initially think is possible. There are so many secrets to discover, and most are hidden in plain sight, but you will need to acquire the proper gear over time to find everything, which includes different visors, cannon types, morph ball abilities, and more. As you navigate the vast interlocking zones, you will see a high level of attention to detail everywhere, as you are encouraged to explore and discover the world design and figure out where to go next. No hand holding and no signs. And that's what this game does. It makes you anticipate the way forward. As I navigated into the heart of the planet, I quickly realized that the world of Talon 4 is like a giant puzzle box, almost Rubik's Cube-like, that you will need to solve in order to reach your end goal. Multiple biomes awaited me, complete with their own life forms and terrain. I marched through snow-covered tundra as cliff faces beckoned me to climb and swing over boiling lava pits filled with serpent-type enemies that breathed fire. A bridge made of wood and branches twisted together caught my eye, signaling a path forward, but beware the hives of hornets as they swarm if unchecked. Labs sit dormant with specimens trapped in tubes waiting to be released or burst outward without warning. Every step forward pulling you to the next discovery and challenge. You can navigate old ruins with vines and leaves covering walls and decorative statues jutting from the ground, and learn the lore of the ancient race, the Chozo, while scanning the hieroglyph-like tablets scattered throughout. It's interesting that the story is limited to scanning objects to detail what happened on the planet. I didn't mind it, but can see some people wanting more cinematic storytelling or cutscene. Metroid Prime is definitely about the experience and immersion over any traditional storytelling, and they deliver that handily. As you play, you will witness one of the best looking games available on the Switch. This game is seriously impressive to look at, and you can really see the labor of love that went into its updated looks and presentation. Everything from environmental changes affecting your visor as rain and snow cling to it, and your arm cannon. These subtle nods are ways to immerse the player even more into this mystical world. Flashes from missiles show Samus' reflection in the visor for a brief second, as with just a glimpse you know there is a human being there, not just a hollow robotic suit, further reinforcing the stake. When you use your X-ray visor, you can see through Samus' hands as the bones show, which I really got a kick out of. Again, the attention to detail here is superb. The lighting is also impressive as shadows cast themselves on the walls and float around with the changes in light sources, especially when in morph ball configuration and tight corridors. The seamless way Samus goes from first-person power suit and visor mode into third-person morph ball is awesome, and seeing as this will happen hundreds of times in a playthrough, it feels satisfying to swap back and forth. The morph ball is implemented so well, as you will be required to navigate many areas that require you to squeeze into condensed spaces, as well as track magnetic rails that twist and turn like a roller coaster. Tunnels are often covered by stone that need to be blown open with your bombs, or you might need to blast up to ledges. The challenge is consistent and is not just limited to using your legs to jump from platform to platform. Here, you will need to be extremely mobile, and they made it a breeze to maneuver with concise controls, as controlling Samus feels good, although I would have preferred a little bit faster movement speed. Enemies hide in the ground and barrel to and fro, climb walls, hide in snow, and so much more. You may enter a room only to be attacked by an unseen pirate, quickly switching visors to catch their body heat signatures or see them in their ethereal state. You will consistently be utilizing tactics to turn your disadvantages into strengths. There's always something around the corner waiting to strike, and this builds a level of caution into the gameplay loop, as you will spend so much time exploring and backtracking. There is often a scrap in every room you enter, so you must stay on your toes. I will say that I'm not that big a fan of backtracking in games. I typically don't mind some backtracking, but here you will need to backtrack so much that it can get a bit tedious and long-winded. As far as the combat goes, enemies are decently varied. You will battle everything from natural life that live on the planet to space pirates of varied sizes and abilities. They will do everything to ensure your demise and get consistently more difficult and challenging. All day they typically just head straight for you and attack directly with very little flanking or use of cover. The AI is as expected, especially for the time. Most non-pirate enemies move in a consistent loop, while the latter stick to the script more exclusively. They usually move straight toward you and dodge accordingly. The lock-on mechanic when shooting definitely made for a unique experience and enabled you to feel more in control and to focus more on being mobile, dodging, and jumping than aiming. You have several arm cannon choices to unlock, and my favorite was the ice beam, that when charged freezes enemies in place or breaks them into pieces in one shot. You have to pay attention to unique identifiers for most later stage enemies, as they are immune to most weapon types but one, further pushing you to not get too comfortable. The bosses were interesting and like mini puzzles in themselves, so there was never a time where you can just attack head on, but rather figure out what attacks to use and where to use them. I really enjoyed the final boss as well. The battle itself was great and creative, and I thought it was completely epic to end the game on. Lastly, the sound is so damn good. I mean, the music is both mysterious, moody, and exciting. You can feel the sudden change in the atmosphere as the tracks switch, eliciting awe or caution. From the drumming beat in Magmoor Caverns to the relaxing, almost calming vibe of Phendrana Drift, every track is unique and epic. Not only is the music fire, but the effects from the cannon charging and firing, rain pattering, blast doors opening and closing, rocket explosions, and enemy sounds like the rumbling and crackling of rocks from Thardis are all great. The way everything comes together in the end is a fantastic stew of precision and purpose, and that is rare. And I understand why it gets the reverence and the admiration it does. There truly, really isn't anything else quite like it, and it's easy to see how it has inspired so many players and developers alike for so long. As for any 20-plus-year-old game, it has its shortcomings, but they are so subtle and few that it makes it very difficult to find much fault here. Metroid Prime Remastered is a fantastic game and an easy recommendation to anyone who owns a Switch and likes an immersive, unique, and curious world with FPS mechanics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.